Hi y'all, I'm going to be reading from my book again. Means of transportation. To understand the extent and nature of the big change that was to take place, we must first go back to 1900 and look about us. At the scene, the conditions of life, the people. In that year, 1900, there were registered in the whole United States only 13,824 automobiles, and they were really few and far between, except in the larger cities and the well-to-do resorts. For in 1900, everybody thought of automobiles as playthings of the rich, and not merely of the rich, but of the somewhat adventurous and sporting rich, people who enjoyed taking their chances with an unpredictable machine that might at any moment wreck them. There were almost no paved highways outside the cities, and of course there were no roadside garages or filling stations. Every automobilist must be his own desperate mechanic. Probably half the men and women of America had never seen a car. But horses were everywhere, pulling surreys, Democrats, buggies, cabs, delivery wagons of every sort on Main Street, and pulling harvesters on the tractorless farms out in the countryside. It is hard for us today to realize how very widely communities were separated from one another when they were dependent for transportation wholly on the railroad and the horse and wagon, and when telephones were still scarce, and radios non-existent. A town which was not situated on a railroad was really remote. A farmer who lived 5 miles outside the county seat made something of an event of hitching up and taking the family to town for a Saturday afternoon shopping. A trip to see friends 10 miles away was likely to be an all-day expedition, for the horses had to be given a chance to rest and be fed. No wonder that each region, each town, each farm was far more dependent upon its own resources, its own produce, social contact, amusement, than in later years. For in terms of travel and communication, the United States was a very big country indeed. No wonder, furthermore, that the majority of Americans were less likely than their descendants to be dogged by that frightening sense of insecurity which comes from being jostled by forces, economic, political, international, beyond one's personal ken. Their horizons were close to them. They lived among familiar people and familiar things. Individuals and families and fellow townsmen, much of their own sort, with ideas intelligible to them. A man's success or failure seemed more likely than in later years to depend upon forces and events within his own range of vision. The road at which he looked over the dashboard of the family carriage might not be friendly, but at least most of it looked understandable. Please rate, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're on TikTok, follow and like. Bye!